Hi, everyone. Welcome to the call. We couldn't have the live stream setup done, so we'll record it for today. Welcome to the Dev Community call. Uh, I'm Himanshu, Developer Relation Engineer at Bioeconomy. Objective of these calls is to have more personalized discussions with developers who are building on Bioeconomy stack or any question that they might have related to that. I'll quickly introduce the hosts who will be also presenting with me, our product management team, Nuno, Shruti, and Graham. We are also joined by some other team members as well. And okay, so we don't have a live stream yet, but so I'll just start with the agenda of today's call. So we'll begin with the product updates. Talking about the new features and the latest advancements that we have had. Following that, we will be discussing, we'll have a session on frames. We'll understand the new functionalities and how we can build more interactive apps using frames. Following that, we'll have a spotlight session with one of our developers, Abhishek, who will be presenting his latest game built on Frames and how he has integrated Bioeconomy Paymaster to sponsor the on-chain actions. Following that, we will have a Q&A session. I mean, if anyone has any question, we will be happy to answer. We will end the session with a feedback, and we have a feedback link as well in the end to know about potential topics for future calls or any other suggestion that you have. So let's get started. I will hand it over to Graham to kick off the call with the product updates. So,
Awesome.
Graham.
Thank you, Himanshu, for an honor to be the first speaker in our first community call. All right, so if you could jump to the next slide, just going to be introducing the SDK4. Now, I'm introducing it, but really all credit goes to Joe and Gabby, who put it together and wrote it. The super high level is that it's just much easier to configure the SDK and deploy smart accounts. Much simpler than how it used to be. That was feedback that we got from our developers. So we just wanted to make it kind of one-click SDK install and all the packages come. And so that's a master package to import them all. Simpler methods to build and send user ops. So before it was a little bit obtuse. You had a number of methods to put together a user op to just either create an account or send a transaction. And we've just condensed that to one method. And then support for Veeam. It's hot right now. It's a standard that I think the entire industry is going to. So giving it support was inevitable. Yeah, the word I'm looking for. But yeah, all over, just a much better experience when it comes to building with Bioeconomy. It doesn't stop here. The guys have been rolling out tons of updates, way more test coverage, and to drop a little bit of alpha. We are going to be looking at this a lot deeper for our next version, but that's a completely different story and a completely different product update. So save that for another day. If anyone has any questions, please jump in and I will immediately refer you to Joe or Gabby. But if no questions, I will jump over to the next slide. So account recovery module. Now, what's really interesting about this is that account recovery, it requires other people, other human beings, whether that's an institution, whether that's and maybe yourself, and it's another EOA that you've got buried in the backyard, or seed phrase that you've got buried in the backyard, or maybe it's your friends, your family, you name it. And the problem with that, and the problem with account recovery, is that privacy is a real concern. And when we took our approach, what we've done differently is gone to great lengths to hide or at least to preserve the privacy of the guardian. So if you look at a few other ways how this is done, essentially you will just kind of paste the address of your guardian, and that address will be saved on chain. So from a security perspective, it's a little bit dodgy in the sense that you can find a high value safe or other smart account, you can then see, okay, what are the addresses of the guardians? And if you can dox those guardians, you have a backdoor, so to speak, into the smart account. And what we've done is we've preserved privacy purely through, I won't get into the details, but we basically take we get the guardian to sign some data, and we use that hash as the ID. So there's no way of linking the hash to the actual EOA address, and that's how we preserve the privacy of the guardians. And then the other features here, to be honest, is quite somewhat generic. So time constrained guardians, which means you can say like, hey, this person is going to be a guardian for a month, a week, a year, you name it. Privacy preserving, chat a bit about that. The security delay is just like if you have a guardian that tries to initiate a recovery, it won't happen instantly. You can put on the maximum value we have is 191 days. But it just means that, hey, if guardians are acting maliciously, you have time to jump in. And then a guardian threshold. So if you've got 5 guardians, you can insist that, hey, 3 of them need to sign the recovery message in order for them to execute that function. So it just adds like a degree of protection against some kind of malicious ganging up of your friends and family to try to steal your life savings. But the key thing here is that it's very configurable and privacy preserving. That's what really makes a unique implementation. Audits and code are there for you if you'd like to take a look. Yeah, happy to go into passkeys. So passkey is pretty straightforward. A lot of implementations on account abstraction have come up with their own passkey modules, and they all kind of work the same. Essentially, you take the X and Y axis of some authentication method, and then we give it an ID as well. But the major way that this is used is on any device you have a hardware security module that can sign transactions for you. So that is that's like your Apple Touch ID. I know Google has the same, but I'm not sure what its name is. And the whole thing here is that, yeah, no more seed phrases, no more EOAs. You can authenticate transactions with your devices, which is really powerful. And that's really, yeah, what it comes down to. Again, any questions? But that is also the end of my slides. Yeah, we've got a new SDK, account recovery module, and the passkey module, which will hopefully lead to far better user experiences for developers, for people who are looking to secure their wallets, and for apps that really just want to provide seamless access that users are familiar with.
Nice. So Graham, these modules are ready to be used by developers now?
So we haven't built the SDK integration for them. It's obviously been audited, and we have the Solidity code. For the SDK implementation, we are actually looking for a partner to build with. So if anyone is interested, we're more than happy to prioritize the resources to build out the SDK.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll move on to the next topic, which is the dashboard limits. I'll request Nuno to present it.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly introduce you to one of our unreleased features, currently about to be released. So I thought it's better to show than to tell you how great this is. And we will be talking about our dashboard limits. So this is our demo that we have for about to be released, Paymaster limits and policies for sponsorship. Hopefully you'll be seeing the screen now. Yeah, it should be working. And so if you will notice now that we have the rules tab, we will see there wallet deployment, contracts, spending, and webhooks. And so we will present you these 4 different options. You will have as well the sponsored wallet deployments only. So this will be just a simple toggle you can turn on and off that will apply to sponsoring your wallet deployments. You also have the contracts tab. You can add your contracts there. We just have the smart contract address. So it should be simple and straightforward. Same thing for a webhook. So now you can register a webhook URL post requests only. I think this is a very important parenthesis I should make here, and then you can register your webhooks. And the most important part, spending. So you can actually have global spending limits and user limits. On both of these, you can set them by the gas spend and the number of user ops. So both are possible for global limits and user limits. So on gas spend, you can just set a number of gas spend that you want to attribute to this limit. Then you define an interval. An interval can be anything between 1 hour to 100 days, whatever you prefer. So 24 hours is basically 1 day. And then you can create this limit and it will be set, and you'll be running, yeah, there you go, 1 day. And it will be running for the number of days that you define, and it will be just using that 232 gas spent. Cool. Just 1 more second. Cool. Sometimes I speak too fast. Basically, then you'll see that you have how much remaining and when the new cycle will reset. Basically, this means that after that cycle, you will get the same amount that you defined on that limit, that you can pause, you can edit, you can update. In this case, it was 232. You can actually update it to 23 ETH. These will reset again in 12 hours. You can also delete the limit, obviously, and you can also define user limits like we saw here right now. So again, same thing, user ops and are also possible. So this is the presentation that I had for you for limits. This will be coming live to you in a week. So any feedback, and if you're interested in testing out this feature, I'm setting up a few calls with some customers as well. I would be gladly taking you in and taking any feedback that we can to make sure that this feature is used and also is very useful. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. That's it.
Thank you, Nuno. Yeah. Next, we'll have Shruti talking about the most recent Trust Wallet integration. Yeah, over to you, Shruti.
Perfect. Thank you, Himanshu. Are we sharing the slides as well for this?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I have already shared.
Got you. Perfect. So, yeah, I think at Biconomy, I think for a little over a year now, we've been working to power account abstraction through our products. And it's been great to have recently partnered with Trust Wallet to launch Trust Wallet Swift, which is basically their passkey-based smart account to around 3 million users on various networks, as mentioned here on the slide. So why this was pretty great for us is because just for reference, like Trust Wallet's EOA app has done up to 15 million transactions in a month. So one thing was for sure that we really had to step up our game and prepare for scale. So at Biconomy, what we've done is, and Himanshu, you can move on to the next one. So we've built out a dedicated paymaster and bundler infrastructure to support this high traffic volume and ensure smooth operations for any such enterprise partners. We've had thorough rounds of load testing our systems and developing SLAs such that we can support such partners. Our bundler is currently the market leader in user op volume. And within few days of the launch, specifically for Trust Wallet, we've already processed around 5.5 thousand user ops. It's a pretty good achievement, I feel. And I think there's a lot more to serve that I'm looking forward to. The other thing that we've achieved is we have automated and we've offered risk managed support for more than 200 tokens for gas payments via the Biconomy Paymaster. And Trust Wallet is leveraging this to give their users the flexibility to transact in the token of their choice. This is also great for apps who have their own token, as this adds on to token utility within the ecosystem. So yeah, I think looking ahead, I'm extremely proud of the work our team has put in to enable this. And I'm confident after supporting a client like Trust Wallet, we have the infra in place to scale and grow much further. Yeah, that's all from me.
It's great to hear. All right. We'll now move on to the topic for this call. We chose to go ahead with frames. And so let's begin with frames and what they are. So, frames is essentially a mini app that like anyone can use to interact with, or it's easily embeddable into the social app that is recently built. So, I will just open the yeah. So, and frames is built on top of Warpcast, and it's built with Firecaster protocol. So to understand, like Firecaster is a social media protocol, and Warpcast is the app that's built on top of it. And how is a frame different from a normal iframe that's there is, for example, just let me share my entire screen. Um, yeah. So we will just look at how, sorry. Okay. Let's take a simple example of a URL. So this is a URL, and how a URL, whenever we post it somewhere, it shows a very rich outlook of this URL. It will show you a title, it will show a corresponding image of it. Now, what Frame did is Frame added some more functionality on top of any existing preview of a URL, and they added buttons and the post URLs on top of it. So, if I just post it anywhere, for example, in Twitter, it will just look like, it will come with a preview of it. It's a static preview. There is no interactive buttons or any interactive actions that one can perform into this, and that's where the frame differentiator comes into picture. In frames, we what we can embed is, for example, we can, let's take a simple example of yeah. So this is a very simple frame example where I have just added two buttons to it. So in addition,
Não, que palhaçada é essa, meu? Palhaçada com meu nome.
sorry. Yeah. So in addition to the static title and the image, we will have additional buttons as well. So now you can make it interactive by having the two buttons, and these can be an off-chain action or on-chain actions as well. We will quickly check like how the on-chain actions will work, and this UI is, I think there's some noise. I will just mute them. Yeah. Coming back to this, so this is a UI to build or to validate the frames that you're building. You can also access it in the Warpcast developers frames. You can paste any URL that you are developing with, and it will show you the corresponding tags that it comes with. We just took an example of the simple frame that's built, and you can see like you can have two interactive buttons here.
Cheira com
Now,
vontade, vai, cheira, engole meu peixe.
What is this? What is that?
I just removed a few people. Sure. So yeah, coming back to the same frame
You're
example.
doing great. Don't worry
Uh,
about it. Don't worry
yeah,
about it. If you need a few seconds to relax, don't worry about it. I just remove a few of them as well.
sure. So this is the Webcast interface, and if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's a very cool interface where you can do a lot of where you can build a lot of frames first, and then do a lot of on-chain actions as well within the within your cast itself. So let's say if I add that frame that we just discussed about, we just cast it, and now you can see that I can have two interactive buttons here to have any actions that I want to do. Now frames, like the main use case of frames is to do all the actions within the, like while you are, let's say, scrolling or doing any stuff in general. And now to talk about like how we can integrate the on-chain actions into it. So this is another frame that we'll be talking about for the on-chain actions. So this is a frame to deploy a smart account. Now, for example, I'll first explain like how it works, and then we'll go through the code as well to understand how we can build a simple on-chain action frame as well. I click here, it will deploy a smart account using Bioeconomy smart account and the bundler that has been integrated within it. So now it has deployed
Cala a
a
boca,
smart
nojenta.
account.
Fecha o cu, fecha. Sai do cu, merda. Sua desgraçada. Fecha a boca.
Uh, okay, so we have the probably we'll be cutting all of this noise before uploading it to the YouTube, so it's better for everyone. We can see that now the smart account is deployed at this particular address, and this is the Firecaster ID that's given to each user who has an account with the Firecaster. It's a decentralized social media app, so it's an ID that you have on like it's a Firecaster ID. It's not just the Webcast ID that is being given. So now the smart account has been deployed, and you can see the smart account. And if you want to like send any funds or do any transactions with that. So this is the template repository where you can see the code for creating frames where you can integrate with the Bioeconomy's smart account. Now I will walk through the code. Okay, so as we are so in the developers validator that let's say the same account one that we saw there, you can like test it out. You can see what is the button here, what is the post URL, etc. So as you can see, this has a title which is a smart account frame template, and this is the image and the button that we have, and it has a post URL to it, which is the API account post URL. So any frame that you want to build, you can build like this. Like you are saying that this is the title, this is the description, the image, and the other frame metadata, which is the button to deploy the smart account, and the post URL, which is again an API call. So how do you make a frame interactive is along with just returning the tags, you would return the buttons, and then even in the return, you can return another frame to it, so that I mean that's how you like you can make it interactive, like one frame at a time. So this is like the first page that we saw, and with the post URL, which is the API account, we will go and see like how the account is being managed. So essentially, this is again like the smart account integration code, like the SDK code that we use to integrate with the Bioeconomy smart account. So here I am creating an account, and I'm also minting an NFT along with to deploy. So here I have returned like buttons saying like views, you can view your smart account, or and then I have returned like another post URL, which is basically a redirection to the Etherscan that we just saw. So if I just click here, it will return this new button, which is the view smart account. So likewise, like with the next button, you can return another frame if you want to, but this is just an external redirection that we just saw. Now we can discuss about how this can be useful to dApp builders. So for example, I mean, if you have a very small app, like just to lend some token or to swap some token, you can directly like embed in this. You can sponsor users transactions via Biconomy Paymaster. Uh, and we had a very good uh, frame being developed by one of our another community members, which is also pretty cool, which I will quickly try to showcase if possible. This is again just to give an example like how you can build how you can build a frame. So likewise, like you can do a swap based on the tokens that you have, and like you can have multiple frames here. So this was a brief, essentially like the normal frames are like the normal links are built using the Open Graph protocol. The Farcaster guys enhanced the Open Graph protocol and added the additional tags to it, which are like what we just saw, the buttons, etc. If anybody has any question, particularly to the frames, and like feel free to ask, we can discuss those. But yeah, do check out this repo. This is a template repo to make sure that how you can integrate any of the Biconomy SDK, be a bundler or paymaster to sponsor the transactions. And yeah, this was, so yeah, we just saw like a walkthrough of the code behind this. Yep. So that's all on frames for now. I will now request Abhishek to showcase and also tell about like his experience of integrating and building in frames. Abhishek?
Hey guys. Hey. Am I
Hey.
audible? Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So today thanks for inviting me over here. I'm with my other colleague who helped me build this frame called Degen Jack. Karan, even is here. So thanks for the primer on frames, Himanshu. That was really, really helpful. And it's going to make the next section much more easier for us. Karan, do you want to share screen or should I?
Absolutely. Just give me a second.
Sure. So we also were out to build out something on frames, and we had this old idea previously to build Degen Jack, which was an existing game on Polygon, and we just wanted to experiment something with frames. So go ahead, Karan.
Awesome. So while I play the game, I'm just going to walk you through the process. So every time a user clicks on play, a smart account is created using Biconomy. Now this is built around a token called Degen, which lives on the Base blockchain. And it's essentially a meme coin with no utility, but we're adding utility to it by creating this game. And what the user can actually do is use his Degen tokens to play our version of the high-low card game, which is called Degen Jack. And yeah, like I said, a smart account is created against his Farcaster ID, which is linked to his MetaMask wallet. And every time he wants to play, he can deposit a certain amount of tokens into the smart account. And correct me if I'm wrong at any point, Abhishek, but once he has those tokens within his smart account, he can actually go ahead and play the game, which is what I'm going to show you now. So essentially, a cast then becomes an interactive post of sorts, which you can actually play with. Well, I've drawn an 8 here. I can choose whether the next card is going to be high or low according to me. And depending on whether I'm right or wrong, I'm going to win or lose. I'm going to go for low here. And I just won 42.5 degen. This gets deposited directly into my smart account. And in case I lose, the funds are directly taken from my smart account into the smart contract that allows the users to play the game. And this fund is then withdrawable to their main wallet, whether it's MetaMask or Rainbow or whatever it is that they use at any point, and the gas is then sponsored by Economy Paymaster, if I'm not wrong, Abhishek.
Correct. So I'll just add in a few more details. So while we were building the game, the major issue that we faced was of signage. Any user interacting with the frame cannot really send or perform any transaction within the frame, right? Because that's not out in the spec yet. Now we do have a draft spec that's out, but it's not really ready to be implemented. So to solve that issue, we were leaning towards smart wallets or smart accounts for users to be created against their FID. And the FID, just speaking from a little more depth perspective, FID is unique to every Farcaster user, and we are using that FID as a salt parameter to be passed in the Bioeconomy smart account creation. So every smart account created for every user is unique, and the user can totally control it. Now, once you click on play, a smart account for your FID is created. And upon choosing high or low, what's happening over here is every win or every tokens that you're losing, that's happening on real time. Like you can see 10 transactions on your, so right now we have capped 10 games per day per user. You can see 10 transactions on your smart account wallet in the Explorer. And the best thing that I really liked about Bioeconomy over here was that in the frames, there is a very peculiar restriction that the loading state that you're seeing for a frame, the buttons being disabled, that has, if a frame is taking longer than 5 seconds to load, the frame will crash, or the frame typically wouldn't go to the next state. So I was kind of impressed that Bioeconomy was able to process the transaction and do everything for us within 1 to 1.5 seconds, and for a frame to load. So what you saw right now, 10 frames got generated in what, like 30 to 40 seconds. And all these transactions are on chain. If you just go home, Karan, and click on account. Right now, the balance that you're seeing is the balance that is the amount of degen token present in Karan's smart account generated against his FID. And if he clicks on withdraw, this amount from his smart account wallet will be withdrawn to the wallet that is linked to Karan's FID. In the profile section, you can connect your own wallet for your FID, and then this is successfully withdrawn. The only friction that we had over here was showing the user that you have to step out of the frame to deposit the tokens. But by far in the whole frames community, this was one of the most seamless on-chain transaction that we were able to achieve. And yeah, you can see it is quite well received by the community, and we received quite a lot of things for this as well. But yeah, that's about it, guys.
Thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you, Abhishek.
I'm going to drop the link to the game in the chat. If y'all are feeling degen-ish, please feel free to go degen.
Thank you so much once again. Cool. We are now to the open discussion. I mean, we couldn't actually make it live, so I'm not sure how useful this would be. But if you have any more question, Abhishek or Karan, happy to answer those, or anyone else. Yeah, Nuno,
I actually have a question for for the DGen game. How many users have you seen playing around with your tool?
I think it was somewhere around 350 to 400 users so far. And per user, like everyone maxed out their 10 games for like the past week. So we saw around 2,000 games being played.
Are you planning on releasing any new games in the future?
We are planning to launch a second version of the same game in which you can. So two things. First of all, we are planning to do some optimization towards the gas. For every real-time transaction, the gas is being spent a bit too much. And second thing is we want to launch an extended version of the game in which you have another section called Double or Nothing, in which you can basically double your winnings or lose it all. And parallelly, we have a couple of other frames that is in process. So to answer your question, yes.
That's awesome. Thank you, man.
I have one question as well. I saw that the Farcaster team just recently published transaction frames, or like a transaction sort of suite, or I didn't quite catch what that is. Did you know what that is? If so, I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, so I haven't really went in deep study about it, but essentially what it does is that the address that is connected to your Farcaster account, either that or the custody address from which a Farcaster ID was generated, and that you can load up. You can load up your tokens or native gas or whatever, and then from frames you'll be able to transact using the funds from that address.
From the connected address, you mean?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that from like beforehand, like before when people have been using frames, which is connected to their EOA, people can't use assets from that EOA. They'll just maybe sign something or mint an NFT, and that's it. That's all they can do. But they can't actually spend the money from that EOA.
Correct. Yes, exactly. That was the issue. That's what led us to create smart accounts. Currently, in all the mint NFTs and everything airdrop that you're seeing, it's tokens or NFTs are being airdropped to the wallet. You just by clicking a button, you're just submitting your address.
Got it.
So it's an incoming action, everything. But with this frames transaction spec, hopefully the outgoing actions will also start.
Any more questions? Okay. I think we are almost about to wrap up. So we have the feedback and suggestions. So if you have any feedback for this call, feel free to share. And we would also want to know about any potential topics you would want us to discuss in the upcoming calls. And any other suggestion, feel free to share in the following form. Sure. And also, we will be uploading the recorded session on the YouTube for anybody to refer in future. No, do you want to add anything else?
No, just as this is going to be a recurrent call on our side, we were making very strong plans on making this a regular thing. We want to hear more about what the community is doing as well with Byconomy. So if you have interesting projects you would like to showcase, reach out to us. Use this form we would love to hear about it. We are also going to be listening in for feedback on Discord, so join our Discord channels, and you can also participate there. So we will bring you in for the next one that will be in April.
Yep.
Thanks
Thank you so
everybody for
much,
joining.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.